Blessed be, this is WhiteRaven over here. Today is Monday, so happy Magic Monday to all of you guys. I'm very happy to be here today and share this video with you today because I was dying to share this with you. Today we're going to be discussing Denise Alvarado new book, which is Laveau Voodoo Grimoire. I already shared with you last week a little spell that I got from this book. So today we're going to talk about the book. Denise Alvarado, Laveau Voodoo Grimoire. So without further ado, let's get into this review. First of all, I want to tell you that I was very excited because today I was looking for some information on Denise Alvarado because I have a lot of her books. She has lots of books, which is a lot more books than what you can imagine. If you follow her, chances are, if you think you have all of her books, you're gonna find something else that she wrote some time ago. I mean, she's been doing this for 40 plus years, and I was really excited because I found her in LinkedIn. It says a lot about her. It makes me happy because a lot of her books have very little on who she is. If you want to know a little bit more about who Denise Alvarado is, check her out in LinkedIn. We already know that she was born in New Orleans. She talks to you a little bit about when was her first time doing any type of rituals, which was with her aunt somewhere close to a bayou. And if you go into YouTube, there's some interviews with her in which she talks about this as well. She's an anthropologist, which is like, this lady is a scholar. She's not just whatever person that decided to one day start writing books and she started writing books. This person does her job. She does her research. Personally, she's absolutely 100% underrated. Denise Alvarado does so much. She also has a group. It's a Hoodoo Voodoo group, and it's a private group. And she also has Crossroads University, in which she has witches. I promise you. Denise Alvarado has such incredible information. When her website is called University, Crossroads Universities, understand that the courses that she offers in there are very in-depth. Currently, I'm taking one of her courses and I cannot believe the intensity of the information. Like, I legit think I'm going to some type of a magical school because it feels like I'm going to school to learn about these things, but it also feels highly magical. Listen, witches, many of you guys ask me what to do. You want to practice hoodoo, you want to learn so many things. This is the first step. Visit Denise Alvarado Crossroads University and check the courses that she has in there. I am definitely going to link Crossroads University in the description of this video. I suggest that this is a topic that you are passionate about and you really want to learn from the right sources. Look no further. This is where you need to be. Let's start with the book. This book has about 220 pages. It has 15 chapters. Introduction, it has notes, bibliography, further studies. If you want to study a little bit further, where do you have to go? And it also has image credits and an index. So you have a lot of information. This book is very simple to read. It's going to be very straightforward. What you see is what you get. Like every time I read a book, I suggest, witches, that you always read this book with your computer by your side because you broaden what you're learning. Sometimes the author tells you something in a book that you don't know what they're talking about, or you want to know a little bit more of the history of what the person is talking to you about, so you can better visualize what the author is trying to transmit and teach you. So let's start with the introduction. It's extremely important that you read the introduction because in the introduction, Denise Alvarado is going to tell you a little bit of who Laveau is. Now, I'm going to tell you that if you are into Laveau, Denise Alvarado also already did this book about 4 years ago, I'm thinking. The Magic of Laveau. This is such a great book. I think I did a review on this one as well. If you want to know more in depth about her life and her history, I suggest for you to get this book as well. The Magic of Laveau is a complement to this book. All right. Also, if you want to know a little bit more, Witch Queens, Voodoo Spirits, and Hoodoo Saints from Denise Alvarado is another really great book that I recommend. you're gonna have a better perspective of what you're reading. Now, can you read this book without reading these other two books? Absolutely, 100%. But if this is something that really fires your heart, right? If it fires your spirit, then those are other books that are complement to this one. So they're important to have as well. So again, the notes are going to give you a glimpse, because it's going to be really small. I mean, it's in the notes, of who Marie Laveau was, who her husbands were, well, her husband and her common-in-law were, and who her kids were, what she did for people. How did people see Marie Laveau back in that time, in the late 1800s? So you're going to learn a little bit about the background of the stories that you're going to see over here in the notes of this book. Denise Alvarado also takes the time to explain to you what is the difference of conjure, hoodoo, root work, because these are words that you probably used to hear, and a lot of people use them interchangeably, and they may or may not symbolize the same thing. Denise Alvarado is going to give you a little bit of explanation, so you at least know the difference between one and the other. Also in the notes, you are going to learn a little bit about what is voodoo, what is New Orleans voodoo, what is Louisiana voodoo, there is Haiti voodoo, there is Africa voodoo. There's a lot of confusion out there and a lot of gatekeeping out there. And like I said last week, some gatekeeping is in a way correct, but there's some other gatekeeping that is based only on ignorance. So it's important for you to know, to be prepared. A lot of people is under the understanding that we are talking about a closed religion in this book, and that is definitely not the case. I am such a big fan of Denise Alvarado. She lights my spirit on fire, like she really does with her books. You know, back in the 1800s, hoodoo and all this magic was banned. That was prohibited. It was punished by law. You cannot practice. In the note, she's going to tell you where did she get the recipes for this book. And it happens, which is that back in the late 1800s, these recipes were kept in pharmacies. The interesting part about this is, like, do you know that, for example, these powders, these voodoo powders, they could not be named what they were. Like, for example, let me explain myself. Do you know that separation powder was not sold as separation powder? It was sold as number 45. And another example, come to me. Do you know that that was not sold as come to me? It's not like you could walk in the Botanica right now and find the oil, or going online and buy the oil by the name. No, that come to me powder was known as number 62. And a curious fact, do you know that perhaps the song Potion Number 9 comes from this time? Because the powders and all these magic ingredients were only named by numbers because they were so controversial and they were prohibited by the law. There you go. Now you know something. And I want to add, before I go into, and I'm sorry, I get so excited when I talk about Denise Alvarado in these books because I enjoy them so much, which is I learned so much. I can visualize all this. And I don't know if you've been in New Orleans. I have, and it's magical. It's so palpable, you know, this story and the energy still there. It's just, I can't transport myself. So in any case, something that I want to add in here. One of you guys left a comment in one of the pictures that I put in my Facebook page that you love the book, but you are a little bit, I don't want to say disappointed. I don't remember how the exact words was that the person used, but along the lines disappointed because there's no like measurement for the recipes in this book. Listen, which is very rare you're going to find recipes that had actually measurements. If you find measurements, it's because nowadays witches have actually taken the time to put measurements to make it perhaps easier for you and for anybody else. But you know what? Some of these recipes, witches have been transmitted from generation to generation, word to mouth. So if this is something that bothers you, I think you should come out with your own recipe and your own measurements. But yes, a lot of the recipes from these powders, these oils, and these mixtures from before, you're not going to see numbers and measurements over here. Also remember, which is a lot of the people that came out with all these recipes, they could not write or read. So things were done word of mouth. Things were taught by you observing somebody else. I personally feel like this is part of the beauty of these recipes. We are so lucky, witches, to have these recipes nowadays in our hands. Those are a little bit of the things that Denise Alvarado covers in the notes. And I talk more than what she wrote because I'm very passionate about these type of things. The book is going to be on Audible, I think tomorrow, March 5th, 2024. So if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it. I think it's a great listen, but this is a book of recipes. So I think this is something that you also, if you like to listen to books the same as I do, I love listening to books, but you should also buy the book because you have recipes in here. So let's get into the chapters. First chapter, Materia Mágica. In this chapter, Denise Alvarado will share with us, and to quote her, the essential tools of the trade if you want to be an effective conjure worker in the Laveau Voodoo tradition. A lot of the tools are going to be very obvious to you, like for example, cauldrons, doll babies, incense, bells. You need your books, you need your book of shadow, which is the Bible. And I know many of you guys get really squirmish when we talk about the Bible in magic. If you do not want to use a Bible in magic, perhaps this is not for you, because the Bible is very present in conjure, root work, and hoodoo. These chapters are also going to talk to you about oil lamps, coffins. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that if you want to follow this folk tradition, you need to at least have in your apothecary, in your arsenal, in your artol, in your witch room. Something that I like a lot about this book, let me show you. It's going to have 2 tables. And one of the tables is going to be for the kitchen witch essentials here, and this one, which is for perfume and colognes and their magical uses. I really like that. It's very practical to me. This is going to be one of those books that I'm going to be using when I'm making magic. So I'm going to refer to, and if I'm making a specific spell, that's probably the book that's going to be in my table when I'm doing the spell. The second chapter is going to be all about beauty formulas. Your hair, your face, dry perfume, skincare. It's going to be a short chapter, but you're going to learn many things that are very natural and then you can do right away. Chapter 3 is also very short. These are going to be best time for conjuring. Obviously, this chapter is going to touch on days of the weeks, phases of the moon, if that is something that you want to follow, and times of the day. I particularly feel like times of the day are very important to follow, depending on what type of spell you're making. So this chapter is going to touch a little bit on this. You're also going to know the days in which Marie Laveau used to held her services. It's all in chapter number 3. Chapter 4 is going to talk to you about how to take care of your items, your altar, your magical tools. She's also going to give you great ideas and methods, how to do your laundry and clean your laundry, your magical garbs, right? How to clean them. I also love that in page 43, she's going to give you a little snippet on the use of sage. Please pay attention to that little short snippet that she puts in page 43. Many of you guys don't know, but Denise Alvarado is also Native, and she have done extensive studies on indigenous anthropology. So read it, pay attention to it, create your own conclusions, but I appreciate that she took the time to write this over here. This chapter is also going to tell you a little bit about the use of different stones, like for example, the incredible lodestone that many of you ask me about it. And something else that I absolutely love about this chapter, Denise Alvarado is going to finish this chapter on a little bit of history of the use of the tignons back in that time. These actually took me into a rabbit hole because I did a little bit more research on that. I suggest for you to do the extra research as well. You're going to learn important things about history in the United States. Chapter 5, one of my most favorite chapters in this book. It's going to be all about food. She's going to give you recipes, and the best recipes, for example, that you can use as offering for Marie Laveau. Like you're going to learn how to make ongri, Creole parlines, so delicious. I mean, if you ever go to New Orleans, you cannot miss eating Creole parlines and of course vignettes and so many other things. But you're going to have some really awesome recipes in this particular chapter. I hope you enjoy it. I know for a fact that I'm already making some of this stuff, and I may be sharing some of the stuff that I make from here with you guys coming up soon. Chapter 6, Creole Cures and Remedies. From here, as I speak, I'm making an oil for aches and bruises. Many of you guys don't know this because I don't tell you, but I have a bad back. So I'm definitely going to be using this oil. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to show you how I make it. And I'm very excited to have this in my hands. But the truth of the matter is, which is that back in that time, many people did not have doctors. So they have to use their resources in what they learn. And these are some remedies that you're going to learn and you're going to know and you can apply to yourself and you can apply to your everyday life. I'm very grateful that I have this in my hands. Something that Denise Alvarado stressed in this chapter is the importance of you knowing your roots. Make sure that you know the difference between one and the other. Because a couple of months ago, I shared here with you how many toxic plants and deadly plants are out there. Make sure that you know how to differentiate these plants, the good from the bad ones, the toxic from the not toxic. So it's important. She brings that to your attention. Very important. Chapter 7 is going to talk to you about incense. It's going to give you not only recipes, but Denise Alvarado is also going to teach you how to elevate the use of incense. Do you know that you have to create your incense altar looking in a specific way? Do you want to know? You have to read the book. And she's going to give you many ideas on how to maximize the use of incense. It's a really cool chapter. Plus, you're going to find great recipes for a very wicked incenses. A few examples are going to be Cleome incense, Come to Me incense, Van Van incense, Has No Hannah, and many more. These are very classic New Orleans incense recipes, so you're in for a treat. Chapter is going to be all about love magic. She's also, and I appreciate this because I think the same way, she's going to tell you a little bit about the ethics behind doing love spells. Is it worth it? Should you do it? Should you know? It's up to you at the end of the day. She's still going to share with you some really cool recipes and wicked recipes for your love life. Chapter 9 in turn is going to give you recipes on magic dusts and sachets powders. So you're going to have a lot of recipes in there to do what it is that you have to do. Some examples of the recipes that you're going to have in this book are going to be number 1, the infamous gopher powder, Louisiana love powder, Come to Me powder, and many more. Chapter 10 is going to talk to you about the magical household, because magic is not just what you do, but it's how you maintain the magic in your home, right? How do you protect your home? How to add more magic elements into your everyday life? This chapter is going to teach you how to accomplish all this using Marie Laveau techniques. So we'll address floor washes, window washes, Marie Laveau peace water, how to conjure your laundry, your care products, and so many other things. It's all about home, inside your home. Chapter 11 is going to teach you one of my favorite things in this world, which is the making of oils. You're going to have recipes for oils, very classic and very important oils when it comes to conjure, hoodoo, and root working. And there's going to be, I counted them, there are 28 recipes in there. And these recipes are coming from valid sources, okay? Which is being one, the Museum of Pharmacy from New Orleans, the 1938 New Orleans City Guide. And also from this book, Mules and Men by Zora Neale Hurston. Listen, which is, many of you guys ask me, what do you need to do if you want to follow hoodoo? And you have all these issues and all these questions. This is what you need to do. You need to study. You have to put your time, love, and effort and acknowledgement on what this is. It's not just grabbing a book and doing a recipe and doing a spell because it's hoodoo and you like hoodoo and you don't know anything else. Please make sure that you know what you're doing, okay? Put the time and effort in learning. Of course, you're not going to have a book like this and not have a chapter on uncrossing and protection, how to uncross people, how to cross people, and how to protect yourself. This is everything that you're going to see in this chapter. In chapter 13, Denise Alvarado is going to take the time to discuss voodoo charms, grigri, mojo, wanga. What are they? The difference? What do they do? Where do they come from? I think that's a really important chapter that you need to read attentively, because a lot of people tend to mix all these terms together, even though they have at the end the same purpose, but they have different backgrounds. So it's important that you know the difference. Chapter 14 is going to talk to you about 7 folk rites of Marie Laveau Voodoo. An example of one that I found very interesting, and I'm very excited that she put this in the book, is Laveau Seance. And the book is going to give you instructions on how to conduct one. I found it very exciting that this is in this book. As you can tell, which is every single chapter, every page will definitely take you by the hand to the other. So you need to read everything. It's such a good read. It's easy to read, it's easy to comprehend, and you're going to be very eager to keep on reading when you're reading this book. Chapter 15 is going to be Sage Advice and Marvelous Secrets. This is what I think, witches. This is what I think. I think that Denise Alvarado had so much to share with us in this book, but honestly, she ran out of pages. I think nowadays books have to be a specific amount of pages, and I think Denise had so much more to tell us. This is what I felt, right? When I finished this book, I felt like she just wanted to put so much in there. She probably went back and said, okay, why can't I take out? Why can't I just leave? I just can't visualize her. I don't know if she did or not, but I can visualize her doing that. Like, editor tells you have to cut it off, it's too long. So she's like trying to put up this really important information in this book for you to have and for me to have. And I just think she ran out of pages. This last chapter on these marvelous secrets, it's short. Read it. It's a lot of fun and it's incredible the information that you're going to get in there. Like, for example, Marie Laveau Secret Curse Removal Ritual, Marie Laveau Candle Secret, and so much more wicked advice. That's going to be the last chapter on this book. When I finished it, I was like, okay, I want more. I want to read more. It was a great book. I'm very excited to be sharing this review with you. Let me give you my final words on this book. Before I go into the analysis on this book, there's 2 things that I really want to bring to your attention and that I want to make very clear. Number 1, Marie Laveau did not know how to write. So in the words of Denise Alvarado, and to quote her, this grimoire becomes an imagining of what she will have written down had she been able to, and unquote. Across this book, witches, you're going to encounter snippets of interviews of individuals that either live, knew, or were somehow linked to the Voodoo Queen herself. Individuals that knew about her reputation because they live contemporary with her, because they had second-hand information. They perhaps knew someone she cured, or they were probably acquaintances with descendants of the Voodoo Queen, or descendants of people that were cured, learned, or knew Marie Laveau. This is going to be throughout the book. You're going to read it throughout the book. The second thing, and again, to quote Denise Alvarado, Marie Laveau Voodoo is a folk religion resulting from her intentional blending of Catholicism and Voodoo. This is not a close religion practice. These are folk traditions, folk magic. Having said that, witches, Voodoo, either from Africa, Haiti, New Orleans, Louisiana, is a close religion. This is folk, but Voodoo, the religion, is a close religion. I just want to make sure that there's a difference between what we're reading here and what some people may interpret this book to be. And I only say this because I already encountered some incidents in my Facebook page when I share this book. All right? This is folk. We're not talking about laws. We're not talking about any type of voodoo rituals and secrets. We're just talking about folk religion at the time of Marie Laveau and what Marie Laveau could have been doing at the time that she was the Voodoo Queen. I love this book. I give this book 100%. I cannot be more excited to share a book like this with you guys. I love Denise Alvarado. Her sole purpose is to make sure that people like you and people like me understand how this folk magic originated. She wants to make sure that things are done correctly, which is, as I always tell you, you have what it takes. You have the resources out there to learn whatever it is that you want to learn. I give this book 2 thumbs up. Give it a chance. I hope you enjoy it as much as I am enjoying it. Let me know what you like. Let me know if you're doing any of the food recipes from this book. And I'm gonna keep you posted with my oil that I'm making for my bag. I'll show you some snippets of me making my oil. If you have any questions, you can email me at layerofthewitch@yahoo.com. Remember that I do not work for people. Also, witches, I invite you to visit my website, WhiteRaven and WitchesLair.com. And last, go say hi to me in Facebook, WhiteRaven and Witches Lair. It is always awesome talking to you, witches. Talking to you make me so absolutely happy. I'm so excited to share this book with you. Be very smart, witches. This is how you stay smart, because knowledge is power. Learning all these things is going back in time and learning so much. But above all, with all that you learn, you need to discern and you need to stay so very wicked. I love you, witches. Bye.